because the majority of people currently incarnated in this physical realm are all agreeing, for the most part, that's the vibration we're currently under. So that's why we work with that 2, and the 4. When we look at 2024, what have we got? We've got a 2, a 0, a 2, and a 4. So we've got 2 2s. Now, this double 2 energy has been there since the year 2020, right? Now, we talk about fractals and cycles of time. When you think about it, that 202, right, has been there 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Now we're 2024. But that the 2 2s and the 0, which is the amplifier of the 2 energy, has been there ever since 2020. So what we're actually living out is an expanded fractal of what we experienced in 2020, right? Yeah. So in 2020, we had to make choices. This is what the 2 is about, making choices and understanding the cause and effect of those choices, right? Because it's about polarity, it's about decisions, it's about positive and negative aspects, and it's about all of that. And with the 202, it's amplified, and we've had that since 2020.
And it is a significant, like astrologically, we've got Pluto going into Aquarius, and that's starting a 20-year cycle. And then we've got the last year of Uranus in Taurus, which is a 7-year cycle, and then Neptune in Pisces last of that, and that's 14 years. So we've got a massive shift happening as well. But it almost feels as well astrologically, and I'd like to hear your insights on this. Dale, you can butt in at any time, but I'd like to hear insights about, it feels like almost like a void or like an anticipation for what's to come in 2025 and 2026 as well, astrologically. Like it's a big year, but it's a big decade, right? Like we're in a big decade. We're in a like historical decade, and you can see it in the charts, you can see it in people, but it feels almost like we're going to get a taster of things before it really starts to heat up. This is what it looks like astrologically.
I think it ties in with the 4 part too about the foundation, because I don't know if you know, when Pluto went to Aquarius, I think March last year for a few months, and then you and me started doing this in that period.
Yes, 6 weeks it was.
And then it went retrograde for 6-7 months, whatever, and now it's just coming back in, and you and me are starting this up again. So it's like whatever was like laid then.
This is directly related to what you're saying, Maddie, about this void, right? This void feels like we're here, then we're going to go there, but we're right in that pivot point, right? So again, the 5 rocks, so it's got a curvy base, right? And it rocks back and forth. It's like a pendulum, right? And it can sort of make a choice to go do what it's done in the past and repeat that, or move forward, right? And this is this void that the astrology is suggesting right now. But what I'll say to you is we're in the year 2024. In the year 2025, we've moved past that midpoint of the 9-year cycle for this decade, right? In the 2020 to 2030, get it? So 9-year cycle, 2020 to 2029, halfway through 2024, we're at that midpoint, and we're pivoting. So there's an actual, I'm going to say very, very confidently that there is a timeline shift opportunity.
Yeah.
And whether that's for each individual, whether they choose to move to a new timeline and experience that new Earth, new timeline, or whether collectively there's so many people that we hit critical mass and we actually all go that way and experience something. Because, and I just want to bounce off what you're saying, Maddie, about war. Okay. Now, 2024 equals 8. Now, 8, let's talk about this 8. 8 is a huge energy field, right? Think nuclear, think directed energy weapons, think large energy field, right? And then where the basic tenet of the 8 is power, authority, money, and sex. So sex, money, power, and authority. Okay, so it's everything about, so I'll tell you what it's in the positive, right? So if the 8 energy is working in the positive, we're talking about self-empowerment. We're talking about the power to change the world. We're talking about leadership and being able to influence people in a positive way, building new things, building things beyond our dreams and things we could imagine could be. But the 8 working in its polar opposite is about authoritarianism, power and control, manipulation. 8 rules narcissism. 8 rules psychopaths. 8 rules sociopaths, right? All that energy. It rules the darker side of sex. So it rules, abuse and all that stuff. So all this stuff that we've been all healing and dealing with since 2020, right? That's been coming up. It's coming to that precipice point now. So the 8, for me, considering that we're talking about the US, you can't talk about the US without talking about Trump, right? You have to, because there's a huge energy field around Trump and the MAGA movement, the America First. It's an energy that's been building and building and building. And of course, we've got the election in November, right? So what it says is it's like a nuclear bomb that's about to explode. It may not manifest into a physical nuclear weapon that goes off, or it may, depending on how we all decide to navigate and choose what to do or how to deal with it. But what I do want to say about the 8 energy is Trump as a archetype is the embodiment and the manifestation of that 8 energy, right? So it's, and the other thing about the 8 issues, it brings up daddy issues, right?
So I watched Maze Runner this year. So the construct that they're caught in, they figure out it's got 8 sections. So they're caught in a maze that has 8 sections. And when they kill the spider with the 8 legs, there has a 7 on it, and that they can only exit through the door of 7.
Like you said, Donovan, with the power. See, the thing with Pluto is power, right? And Pluto going into Aquarius is actually the control of information. So, the control and manipulation of what the public actually see and what they receive as well. So that's the interesting thing moving into this next phase, is how much disclosures there is going to be on one level, but then how much control of that's going to happen as well.
They know that if they don't complete what they need to get completed this year, it's over. And we all talk about that in the, the disclosure movements. We all understand that. We're like, they've got an agenda, and if they don't get to a certain point, it all falls apart very, very quickly. And that is a very 8 energy, because 8 rules entrepreneurs, and a typical highly successful entrepreneur like Donald Trump is they go, they succeed, they fail. They go again, they get up, they succeed again, they fail. And every time they learn their lesson, they get better at it, and they get stronger every time, right? But what I see is that we're in an 8 year, and then in 2025, we're in a 9 year. 9 years is, as everyone knows, or most people know, is endings and completions, right? So we've got the November election in the 8 universal year, and then we move into the 2025 vibration of the 9. I can say it's pretty much going to be done and dusted by mid-2025. It's all done, like whatever form it's all going to take. Now, no one really knows
be able to see what direction it's going by 2025.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, because that's going to be a rapid, like I said, that's like the boom going off.
Wrap it up.
Oh, right. Sorry. Anyway. Thanks, Donovan.
Thanks, Donovan.
You're welcome, guys. Legends.
Yeah.
See you. Bye.
A shout out. We have Down on the Riverina playing.